Members of the Council, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for His Worshipful, the Mayor of Chorley, Mr. Alistair Morwood.
Members of the Council, ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Please be seated. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for attending this meeting. My name is Alistair Morwood and I am the Mayor for at least another 20 minutes anyway. Members of the public are welcome to observe the proceedings on YouTube. Due to regulations, only those members physically present are able to vote. When you are participating, please speak towards the microphone so that everyone can hear you. Please do not obstruct your mouth to ensure that anyone lip reading can do so. If anyone is having issues, please let Democratic Services know. Some housekeeping. We're not expecting a fire drill, so if the alarm sounds, please exit the way you came in. Please ensure that any mobile phones are switched to silent, and if the technology fails, I will adjourn the meeting to try and resolve the issues. First item, apologies. Do I have it? No apologies. Excellent. Item 1, declaration of any interests. Members are reminded of their responsibility to declare any pecuniary interest in respect of matters contained in this agenda. Are there any declarations of interest? No? Thank you. Item 2, minutes. Pages 5 to 10 on your agenda. This item is for decision. First of all, are there any issues to raise on the accuracy of the minutes? No? Excellent. Councillor Bradley, can you please present the minutes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I propose that the minutes of the meeting held on the 14th of April 2026 are taken as a true and correct record? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Wilson, can you second?
Yep. Seconded, Mr. Mayor.
Now take a vote. All those in favour? Anyone against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Mayoral announcements. It's a lot easier to push it back, isn't it? Very short mayoral announcements this time. Following our recent elections, I would like to welcome our newly elected councillors to their first meeting of the council. Councillors Olga Cash, Ellie Close, Jonathan Close, Leslie Duros, Mark Hill, Joe McCartney, Mark Perks and Emma Walker. And I would like to pay tribute to those members who were not returned. Councillors Michelle Beach, Terry Howarth, Samir Khan and Neville Whittam. There was one other. No, we did last time. Item 4, public questions. There are no public questions, so we will move on to item 5. Item 5, the returning officer's report, pages 11 to 14. This item is for noting. Chris, as the returning officer, please can you present the report?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Brief from me, as mentioned by you, there was the elections held earlier in the month, and this report sets out the results of those elections for the council to note.
Thank you. Councillor Bradley, please can you propose the report?
Yes, happy to propose the report, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Wilson, can you second?
Seconded, Mr. Mayor.
That report is noted. Thank you. Item 6, the bit you've all been waiting for. Election of the Mayor for the Council year 2026-27. This item is for decision. Councillor Southern, would you like to propose this item, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be delighted to propose this. It's both an honour and a privilege, to be honest with you, Mr. Mayor. No surprises who that person's going to be. She's been your sturdy sidekick throughout your year in office. Councillor Deborah Platt. who many of us will know for many years. She's been a member of this council for many years. First in the ward of Exton, and then latterly in the ward of Exton South with Croston Maudsley, taking over from Councillor Keith Eden. You keep us in line, I'll give you that, Deborah. When asked about Elaine, she's there, she puts us right when I'm wrong, and I do appreciate your support. What you may well not know about Deborah is that she's actually the Chief Officer for the Lancs Association of Local Councils. She's also the Director of Society of Local Council Clerks. She is truly Mrs. Democracy, as she represents people at all different levels. And on that, Deborah, I take much delight in proposing you for the ensuing year for the mayoralty of the Borough of Chorley. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Sutherland. Councillor Riggett, would you like to second this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will be delighted and honoured to second Deborah as being the next Mayor of Chorley. I've known Deborah for about 15 years or so. She's been a great loyal friend, a great servant to the people of Chorley, to the people of Exton, and I could talk for quite some time about some of the things we've done and why I think should be great. Councillor Pat on the other side of the chamber is keen to take it some other entertainment this evening, but no, I think Deborah will be absolutely great. She'll be a fantastic representative for Chorley and will continue the great work that you've done. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Riggett. Can I invite group leaders and any members to make any comments? Councillor Bradley, would you care to say?
I'd be delighted to, Mr. Mayor, and of course our group are delighted to support Councillor Platt as the Mayor of Chorley. Mr. Mayor, we're in a time of shifting politics, as we've just seen from the recent election results, and I think Deborah's political career has reflected some of that shifting politics over many years. She was originally elected the first time at the same time as myself, Councillor Wilson, I think Councillor Berry coming back on the council in 2008, and she beat a certain young thrusting politician that day in 2008, didn't she, Danny G? And then Deborah was moved out of the council in 2012 by that other young thrusting councillor, Councillor Danny G. So lost and then won. So there we had it, the first iteration of Councillor Platt, Deborah Platt. In 2015, Deborah came back on the council and beat another young thrusting Labour politician, Stuart Clulow. Where's he these days? Just across the way at looking after the Ukrainian Centre. And then obviously, and then lost again in 2023 to Joan Williamson. So the tide comes in and the tide comes out. A note for you guys there. And then came back onto the council very, very quickly, Deborah, unfortunately, as a result of Keith Iden's death in 2023, which is obviously a sad reason, but obviously great that you came back on the council for the council. Because, as Craig said, you have chaired ONS, you've chaired governance in the past, you've been very passionate about the council stuff for the reasons that Craig said, and we're very aware of the stuff you do for LALC and NELC and all the rest of it, your roles in that. You've also been an active member of the Member Support Working Group in the past, which I think is very important for developing members here in Chorley. I do know you're looking forward to the year. I know Alan's delighted with the idea of being a consort. He'll be calling himself Albert before we know it. And obviously we're heading towards a change in Chorley Council with LGR coming in, and therefore it's important that we carry on the traditions around mayoralty, which is very important to the people of Chorley, as no doubt we'll discuss later around Mr Morwood's year. And therefore, of course, our group fully support you and Alan in your mayoral year. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Councillor Perks, would you care to comment?
I'm happy to rise on my return to this council chamber to find that Deborah's going to be the first citizen of the borough. It's a great delight for me to see Deborah taking over this position, and certainly my group will be supporting Deborah throughout the year. I've got to say I first met Deborah in the 80 days of Ashley Village Parish Council, when Deborah was the clerk, and I always found her support as the chairman of the parish council then to be invaluable. She was good on the regulations, the rules, how to conduct the meetings, and it was invaluable. I mean, over the years on Astley Village Council, most of it went smoothly. There was one occasion when a council member dropped 3 photographs on the middle of the desk we were all sitting round, and they were certainly not photographs that you would want to use in the newsletter. And Deborah calmly moved us on, which was good. And then there was a case where we had a very heated meeting, and Deborah was excellent because it looked like there was a lynch squad. It was certainly getting heated, and Deborah just leant across as the clerk and said, "I think we need to suspend this meeting and call the police." And she was cool and calm, and that's exactly what you need to be the mayor of the town as well, because I'm sure you're going to be inundated with lots of groups. One final point I'd like to say. I was surprised years later that Deborah would actually, from a clerk, want to be a politician. And I was asked to be Deborah's agent the first time she stood in Exton North. And it was a bit of role reverse. I was giving Deborah some advice on fighting elections. And I remember this particular moment. We're in the living room. She'd agreed to stand, and I said, as a councillor, it's really good to be personal with residents, and it would be a good idea to sign letters. Deborah said, "Oh, I'm happy to do that," until a few days later when I took the letters round and she saw the box of letters, and if there was ever an expression saying, "What the hell have I just agreed to?" That was it. I wish Deborah and Alan a healthy year ahead, and enjoy every minute of it, and you have our support. Thanks, Deborah.
Thank you, Councillor Perks. Councillor Platt, I'm not going to embarrass you and ask you to make a few comments. You can save that for later, yes. Are there any other comments? Councillor G.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I say anything about Deborah, could I say that what a wonderful mayor you have been for the last year, and I'm sure Deborah has some boots to fill what you have done. You've done an excellent job for Chorley, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, on behalf of Deborah, the 5th mayor from Exton. Yes, must be something in the water. Councillor Moorcroft, Jeff Simons, myself, Tommy Gray, and you. We've all been, in our own ways, good mayors, and I'm sure you've got a better than all of us. I don't know how you're going to be mayor and be clerk. You do well in Exton. You do work very hard. You work for the people of Exton, which is a hard thing to do for people. You can't do right for doing wrong, and that's how it is. On a personal note, I went to see Tommy Gray today and explain what was happening. So Tommy has asked me to convey his congratulations to you. He's sad that he can't be here to see you. He would have loved to be in here to see you, because we might be different parties, but we always have been friends. And he was on the parish council for many, many years. And also, he did say, tongue-in-cheek on this one, to your consult, Alan, congratulations for winning his seat, but he wish he had it's about time he got a better football team. So thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Councillor G, and please convey our best wishes to Tommy. Any other comments? In that case, we will move to the vote. The recommendation is to formally elect Councillor Deborah Platt as the Mayor of the Borough for 2026-27. All those for, please show. Thank you. Anyone against? Abstentions? In that case, you're in. Would you care to say?
Thanks very much, everybody. thank all members for appointing me as the Mayor of Chorley. I'm very honoured, and I think it'll be a good year, and I really do hope I never have to call the police. I just have one more thing to do. I have to name my consort. So my consort is my fellow ward councillor, Craig. Sorry. Sorry. My husband, Alan Platt.
Thank you. Item 7, the election of the Deputy Mayor for the Council year 2026 to 27. Councillor Ainsworth, would you like to propose this item?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I am both delighted and honoured to propose Councillor Aaron Bevan as Deputy Mayor for 2026-2027. Aaron is a ward colleague, friend and one of the most genuine, kind-hearted people I know. He will do everything he can to support the residents he represents in his own ward in Chorley North West, but also in the wider borough in his role as Armed Forces Champion. Aaron is a man of great integrity and resilience, and I'm sure that this will be reflected in his role as Deputy Mayor, supporting the Mayor-elect. Aaron, I have learnt so much from you the past few years. You're a fantastic mentor, friend and war colleague, and I am so proud of you. And with your wife, Christine, by your side, you will both do a fantastic job. I will save any further comments for the next 12 months, and when we get a photo taken later on, I'll make sure that I'll put it on the WhatsApp group, as Aaron refers to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ainsworth. Councillor Walker, would you like to second the item?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, councillors and all the other members here today, it's a privilege to speak for the very first time in this chamber to formally second the proposal of my ward colleague and good friend, Councillor Aaron Bevan. Many of us in this room already know Aaron's experience, integrity and genuine commitment to public service that makes him the perfect person for this role. Aaron has proudly served this country in the army for 24 years and has proudly served the residents of Chorley North West for the last 11. Aaron has given his full commitment to our armed forces community and veterans across the borough and has secured a gold award for Chorley Council, reflecting his commitment and efforts to promote and recognise the contributions of the military personnel. If you spent just 10 minutes with Aaron, his armed forces background is evident almost instantly. He is, without question, a man of structure and discipline. His calm manner, strong sense of duty and unwavering focus on the residents of our ward are qualities that define him. But as his ward colleague, I've also discovered what this means for me in my day-to-day life. I now arrive 15 minutes early to everything, not out of efficiency, but out of self-preservation. Because if I'm not there, I know that I will receive a phone call 5 minutes before the meeting time, asking where I am, why I'm late, and if I've been abducted. I've learnt to maintain a weekly attendance register for door knocking that would make the Ministry of Defence proud. And I've learnt to plan ahead because Aaron does not enjoy anybody else being in control. In fact, I've spent a good portion of the election campaign trying to convince him to leave me alone. But with all of this said, I wouldn't be stood here today without the guidance, support and encouragement from the incredible man that is Aaron. Aaron, I'm blessed to have you as my ward colleague, my friend, and now our Deputy Mayor. Our residents are lucky to have you, which is repeated to me on the doorstep. I know you will do a fantastic job as Deputy Mayor, serving our community once again. I'm proud to formally second this nomination and encourage colleagues to join me in supporting Councillor Beaver. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. Can I invite group leaders and any members to make any comments? First of all, Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and I'll keep this brief. I think what Emma and Sarah have said reflects fully Aaron's qualities that we all know on this side of the chamber, so the Labour group are more than happy to endorse Councillor Aaron Beaver as the Deputy Mayor of Chorley for the following year. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Councillor Perks, would you like to comment?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I've always found Aaron to be such a gentleman the last time he was on the council, so on behalf of our group, we wish him lots of luck and best wishes for this next year.
Thank you, Councillor Perks. Councillor Platt, you can say something this time.
Sorry, I'm on the right wing. I'm a little bit out of position, left-footed. Yeah, I mean, I've obviously known Aaron ever since I got re-elected onto the council. He's always been very, very friendly. We've always got on terribly well. I can't go over what's already been said because it's a waste of time and my effort. But I would just wish him all the best in this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Platt. Any other comments? In that case, we will move to the vote. The recommendation is to formally elect Councillor Aaron Beaver as the Deputy Mayor of the Borough for 2026-27. All those for, please show. Thank you. Anyone against? No. Any abstentions? No. In that case, Councillor Beaver, you are now the Deputy. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I'd have known so many people had said so many nice things about me, I'd have stood last year. This has come out from the blues, absolutely unexpected. And when I got the phone call 25 hours ago, I phoned my wife, Christine, who was out walking, to let her know. And then we had the discussion in here, and then we went over the pub, and the leader, Alistair, he says, oh, what's Christine thinking about it? What does she think about being the consort? And I thought,
You haven't told.
I've not asked her. I'll be back. So I went out straight to it, because you should never think that what you think a woman wants is what she wants. So you always ask a woman. And she said yes. My aim will be to support the Mayor. The Mayor is the King's representative and the first citizen of Chorley. And you have my full support, and congratulations for picking up the Mayor. It's an immense privilege, and I'm proud to take up the position. And I'd like to introduce my consort, my wife Christine, for those that don't know her. Does she know now? Well, she got less than a day's notice, actually. You have, yeah. Always bloody heckling you. I would like to thank Sarah and Emma for proposing that proposition. I'd like to thank you for saying yes and the way you received it. And I'm looking forward to this next year. Thank you very much.
So, my congratulations to you both, and there will now be a short adjournment whilst the mayoral party exchange robes and chains of office. Thank you very much.
and gentlemen, please be upstanding for Her Worshipful, the Mayor of Chorley, Councillor Deborah Platt.
Ladies and gentlemen, councillors, good evening. Please be seated. Yes, that's fine.
I'd like John pushing in.
No. Reading out. I, Deborah Platt, having been elected to the office of Mayor for the Borough of Chorley, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
I, Aaron Beaver, having been elected to the office of the Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Chorley, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it, according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Over to me now. Okay. Right, so item 8 is tributes to the retiring mayor. I'd like to thank Alistair Morwood for his year, so I've just written a little something. Where is it? There it is. It's hiding. So this is for Alistair Morwood and his Mayoress Jane. They have held a number of fundraising events, including the Burns Night, Ceilidh dancing, Christmas dancing, concerts, cricket matches, charity walks and much, much more. They've worked in aid of their chosen charities whilst being the first person of the borough. Their charities are Chorley and District Mencap, Chorley Shop Mobility, Chorley Heritage Centre and Chorley Fair Trade. The Mayor and Mayoress have visited and attended a great many events across the borough. Some were definitely invited to, but some maybe not. And these events were held by a wide range of groups, charities, schools, nurseries, churches, all reflecting the varied tapestry which makes Chorley our borough. And from what I have seen, they've enjoyed every part of it, whilst representing Chorley admirably. Can I invite the group leaders and the members to make any comments? Can I invite Councillor Bradley first?
Of course you can, Madam Mayor. Thank you for that opportunity. Yes, you did right, Madam Mayor. The Morewoods mayoral year was a very busy year. They crammed a lot in, as I expected they would. And therefore, Madam Mayor, we've all been very busy. I certainly have never stopped all year, Madam Mayor. Starting last May at the Civic Dinner, where, unbeknownst to myself and my wife Vanessa, our former ballroom dancing, because we used to do ballroom dancing with Jane and Alistair a long time ago, we came along, all our dancing friends were there. They said, you have to dance with us. We hadn't danced in 2 years, 3 years. So we had, Madam Mayor, I have to confess, we had to come down here mid-meal between the main course and the pudding and have a practice just here. So I really can't look at this space anymore in the same way, as we had a massive row about who forgot what and couldn't remember what down the step. So thanks for that, Alistair and Jane, for the first start of your year. That was followed up by the bizarre sight at the flower show in July of line dancing with the MP on the new floor in the marquee, which was led by the Mayor and Mayoress, and I think I might have joined in, but I had no memory of that event at all, Madam Mayor. And followed up very quickly afterwards by the charity cricket match in September of officers against councillors, which resulted in many, many injuries to many, many people. Yes, Councillor Green? Pulled all kinds of ligaments and what have you. We had ruptured Achilles and all kinds of things. Officers with broken glasses and bleeding from the head. A cricket match, Madam Mayor. So simple, but Mr Mayor made it something interesting. I think you fell over as well, didn't you, Mr Mayor? Yes, he did a very spectacular rolling dive to stop a ball. And then the highlight to me, Madam Mayor, of the mayoral year had to be the Burns night in January. The Burns night in January. I was doing dry January. I'm half Scottish. What a time to choose, Alistair, to ply me with whiskey. I fell off the wagon that night, as many people did, I think. We had the delights of County Councillor Al Clemson dancing, it can only be said to be around the Lancastrian with a knife. In fact, with Mr Bryant, Mr B, from B's Kitchens, best knife apparently. We had myself doing the toast of the lasses and Katie responding in kind, Katie Wilkie responding in kind, which was the most traumatic thing I've ever done in my life. No, not you responding, Katie, just me having to speak about women and be nice. And then apparently my wife tells me I was twirling my kilt too high at some point and gave somebody an eyeful. So it all went on, Madam Mayor. And again, Mr and Mrs Morwood's fault. So the end of their mayoral year, Madam Mayor, I'm exhausted. I'm sure we're all exhausted. And I'm sure Alistair and Jane are totally exhausted after their mayoral year. They have done some sterling work for Chorley. They have been at every event. I've seen them at many of them myself, representing Chorley to the max as they would do. They are always very positive about everything that they do, and Alistair has been keeping us updated by what he's been doing for quite a while at some meetings, hasn't he, Councillor Wilson? And therefore, Madam Mayor, in true Scottish fashion, I will be raising, because I'm no longer on dry January, a wheat dram later on this evening to Alistair and Jane for having a cracking mayoral year. You did Chorley proud. Well done. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Councillor Perks?
I hope you don't mind me calling you Alistair. As one thing we have in common, we both have been ex-mayors of the borough. And if your year with your wife has been anything like the experience I had, it leaves a lot of memories. I couldn't help fail on my return to Chorley to notice you have been everywhere. And you've been passionate about what you were doing, but more importantly is the work that you do on behalf of your charities. Charities these days desperately need as much support and help they can raise. A good friend of mine, who used to be a teaching colleague of with you, spoke highly of you. And to me, that's a marvellous recommendation to receive from somebody. I honestly think that the work you've done for the town will be remembered for a long time. As a tree lover and a bit of a tree hugger myself, now an owner of a woodlands on Anglesey, I've got to say I was very pleased to see you and your wife plant your gift to the borough of a tree in Astley Park. I think that was a lovely idea, and it's going to be around hopefully for many, many generations ahead. Congratulations to you and your wife on the year that you've had. You've raised the profile of Chorley and you've raised funds for charities. And I think that's highly commendable. I wish you now a very happy retirement away from politics on this council and just enjoy the memories that you had of this past year. Congratulations.
Thank you, Councillor Perks. Councillor Platt?
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Say that again.
I'm gonna have to,
Say that again.
I don't have to call you this at home, do I? No. Firstly, I would like to thank Alistair and Jane for the help that they've given, the advice that they've given to us whenever we've been together on what's coming this next year. It's filled me with trauma. I'm really looking forward to it. No, seriously, it was really grateful for all the help that you've given us. The pair of them worked really hard for Chorley. They've represented Chorley in a fantastic way, been to many, many events, raised lots of money for charity. I can't go over what's already been said because it's already been said, it would be wasting people's time. The only thing that springs to mind was Councillor Bradley mentioned the Burns night, and I was quite impressed that Councillor Morwood wore a skirt. Now he's back in trousers. I'm hoping that, I'm sure it is, and windy. And I'm sure he can now get back to what he really wanted to do for 12 months, and that's cut his grass.
Thank you, Councillor Platt. Have we got any more comments from anyone? Councillor Southern.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll say that again. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Alistair, Jane, having finished your tumultuous year in office as Mayor and Mayoress of Chorley, you've now had the opportunity to relax into that sleepy hamlet in Maudsley, where the local councillor, nice lad, nice lad, Tory, nice lad, he'll look after you brilliantly. You've got problems with your bins, Alistair, drains, planning, knock on his door, he'll sort you out. He's a cracking lad, he's not partisan, and if he bumps into you in the spa, happy days. Seriously, Alistair, you've had a cracking year in office. I know how hard you worked, mainly because I see the no parking bollards outside your door when the car pulls up. You've done sterling work, both you and Jane, for Chorley. You've supported a lot of local charities that have been particularly interested in Chorley itself. You've had a great year in office, and I'd just like to say to you, thank you very much. Thank you, Alistair.
Thank you, Craig. Sorry, Councillor Southern. Have we got any more comments from anyone? No. I don't think there's any more that we can say. You've done an absolutely cracking job, and you should be very tired after all of the work that you've been doing. Thank you very much. I think... So I'm on to this.
You want to Alistair?
Oh, right, yeah. Alistair, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much. Turn it round. First thing, I believe Councillor Wilson's going for a train again, so I'll make it as long as I possibly can. I'm all right. Oh, right, it's okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. And my thanks to the Council for giving me the opportunity to be Mayor this past year. It has been an enjoyable, emotional and memorable experience, and I thank the people of the Borough of Chorley for making it all those things. But I'm going to begin, because these things tend to get forgotten, I'm going to start with the one person in particular that I give my wholehearted thanks to, and that is my Mayoress, Jane. We have made a great double act, I think. Not bad at all. You've supported me throughout. You've advised me. You've fed me. You may think that's funny, but you will be eating your main meal either at 4 o'clock or 10 o'clock and various times in between. So being fed is really important. She's given me fashion advice, which is usually, you're not going to be wearing that tie, are you? I didn't ask her permission for this one. Where am I? Oh, yes. She has given navigation advice. And Brendan, I'm sure will remember that a time when we came back from Blackburn Cathedral and the Mayoress said, if you go left, Brendan, I think you'll find it's quicker. I'm surprised we're not still going around Blackburn and Darwin at this point. I think it took us about 30 minutes longer than it was. But it was all done with the best intentions. But without you, the year just wouldn't be as memorable as it has been. And for that, I am forever indebted. Right, I've got that bit over. Right. I've tried over the year at Council to give you a flavour of what I've been invited to attend. And it is a real roller coaster of events, but I recommend it to anyone. So, Madam Mayor, you will enjoy it. And the new deputy, yeah, you're in for a treat. And I recommend it. It's a very controlled ride. And because of that, we have a great civics team here in Chorley who have managed to ensure that I and the Mayoress get to where we need to be at the right time, you know, dressed properly and all the rest of it. And they've organised my various charity events just terrifically well. They have no fear whatsoever now of a Burns night. There was a little bit of trepidation, and it was the full-blown Burns, and I hope, and I know everyone really enjoyed it. So they're ready for that anytime again. So my thanks to Brendan and Paula and the whole civics team for their efficiency, their professionalism, and their no-fuss approach to getting things done. Many of you have attended and supported my fundraising events, and I hope to distribute those funds in the very near future. So this is your job description, Aaron. It's not all about raising money. And although for some, the figure of the local ceremonial mayor may seem a little quaint and outdated in this day and age, a ceremonial mayor does something that policy papers and council minutes don't. They put a face on civic identity. When I visit a school, sit with elderly residents at a community lunch, stand in front of the town hall for a parade, cut a ribbon, draw a raffle, it's an act of connecting with the borough. It reminds us that we're all part of something bigger. A ceremonial mayor has neutrality and can stand apart from the grind of party politics. They can represent the whole community, the lifelong resident, the newest resident, the activist, and the apathetic. You are invited to anything and everything, and that impartiality is more valuable than it sounds. A mayor who attends the local war memorial to lay a wreath or opens an event celebrating a church's bicentennial is celebrating continuity. Communities that lose their rituals tend over time to lose that sense of themselves. Cynicism about ceremony often mistakes the symbol for the substance. But symbols are really important and matter to people. The chain of office isn't just jewellery. It's the link connecting the present to the past. And in troubled or fragmented times, that link is worth keeping. So the chain is passed on, and I wish you, Madam Mayor, a very enjoyable and successful year, and to the council, continued success, doing what you do by, and I thought I just had to throw this in for the very last time, making Chorley the best of Lancashire, all in one place. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we will be moving into normal business from the agenda now. So I'm just wondering if there's any guests wanted to just depart right now and wait for us in committee room 1, that's no problem. But if you want to stay for this gripping business we're going to get through, no problem at all. No one wants to leave? See, I've attracted them to it, see? Right, we're going to continue. So my first item, if I can stand up. Up on the arms. There we go. Mayoral announcements. Obviously, I'm brand new. I don't really have any. But I would like to welcome our newly elected councillors following the recent election. So welcome, and I hope I get to meet you all in person when you're around about or if you come to any events. All members and everybody in here is invited to attend the Civic Sunday Parade and Service, which is taking place on Sunday the 31st of May. We're assembling in Lancastrian at 10 o'clock, and then we're going from, because of the building scaffolding, we're going from the front, and the procession will line up at 10:20 and we'll be leaving at 10:40. Following that, we'll be in St Lawrence's Church for a service at 11 a.m. and then afterwards tea and coffee in the town hall upstairs. All welcome, please. It's not political, it's more ceremonial, exactly what Alistair was saying. It's an important link with the people of the town, so I think we should all make every effort to attend. Thanks very much. Sorry, I think I'll just give up doing that. So item 9 is the Executive Cabinet appointments for 2026-2027, pages 27 to 30. This item is for noting and decision, and I invite Councillor Bradley to present the item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and therefore I'd like to propose that the content of that report is put forward. I'd like to make a couple of points. One is, of course, to welcome Councillor Jenny Whiffin in place of Councillor Terry Howarth as the Executive Member for Housing. I'm sure she'll do an excellent job. And the second thing, Madam Mayor, and Ruth will kill me for this, is on page 28, the typo that says that Councillor Hilton is responsible for biodiversity net gin. Should say biodiversity net gain. There is no gin involved in that portfolio. Gin. But otherwise, Madam Mayor, happy with the report. Thank you.
Councillor Wilson, would you like to second that?
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Who didn't get the memo? Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments about this item? All good. Please can we move to the vote? All members that are for this item? Lovely. Anybody against? And any abstentions? That's carried. What appeared to be unanimously. Yep. Item 10 is appointments to committees, panels and working groups for 2026-27, pages 31 to 40 in your pack. This item is for decision, and I invite Councillor Bradley again to propose the item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I am delighted to propose that all the nominations to the committees and working groups, as detailed in that report, are adopted by the Council. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Wilson, would you like to second that?
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Does anybody have any questions or queries about that report? No? If we move to the vote, all members in favour? Anybody against? Any abstentions? Okay, that item is carried. Item 11 is appointments to outside bodies for 26-27. Item numbers page numbers 41 to 44, and this item is also for a decision. Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I propose that the appointments to outside bodies, as detailed on the report, are taken forward? And I would note there are a couple of vacancies that are not filled, but will be held over to the next meeting, and obviously can come forward in due course. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Wilson.
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Anybody have any comments? No comments? So can we vote for that? Everybody for? Anybody against? Any abstentions? That item's carried. So item 12 is the council meetings. So we're just setting the dates for 26-27. They're on your papers. This item is for noting. Councillor Bradley.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. Can I propose that the dates for the council meetings that are set out for the whole year are taken forward and are in everybody's diaries? Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Wilson.
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Okay, as Councillor Bradley says, get those in your diaries. That item is noted. So, item 13 is developing closer working between Chorley, South Ribble and West Lancashire. And we just have a couple of officers who want to leave. So, are you going that way? Yeah.
More water.
Oh, yes, please. That's the one with the gin in. Sorry? That's the one with the gin in. Lovely. So, just for the sake of anybody who doesn't understand, the officers left because this involves their positions, and we would just prefer to speak about this without them present. So this item is for decision, and I'd like to ask Councillor Bradley to present the item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Okay, So you've all had the report, you've probably read it, hopefully read it, but I will outline the key points of the report that's in front of us. As members are aware, we actually received today the statutory order to the council around LGR, which says that we have to respond to the government by the 16th of June as Lancashire to say how we want to arrange ourselves with LGR. It is coming, and I know some people in the room may doubt it will ever happen. I think there's always a doubt with some government policies whether they'll ever happen or not, but we have to work on the basis that it is going to happen. And members will be aware that in whatever arrangement of current proposals for LGR, Chorley, South Ribble and West Lancs are in that together. So we are in it together. West Lancs can't go anywhere else because they're landlocked by us, ourselves and South Ribble. So we have to work together. Obviously, we do a lot of work currently with shared services with South Ribble. We are very much operating as one council, very much, and that has been successful. It's been challenging at times, but successful and has worked for us. And the way that has tended to work best is when we get on and do it, as opposed to sit around and discuss it. Because if you sit around and discuss things, you never do it. Get on and do it. The report details in paragraphs 10 and 11 the background that we have had some initial discussions with West Lancs about doing some closer working with them. It makes sense. We are going to be together closer in the future. And even if we're not, it makes sense to establish better relationships with our neighbours in our view. So tentative discussions have been had at a political level and also at an officer level. And what that's unveiled, Madam Mayor, if you look at some of the things detailed in paragraph 12 and 13 around some of the benefits of working together more closely is continuity and stability, efficiency, some closer alignment and building capacity and capability at a time when if we are going into reorganisation, capacity will be a major issue. Because this council, Madam Mayor, along with all the others, will have to do three things at once. One is continue to deliver services to residents, which is #1 priority. Number two is transform into a new arrangement. And number three is to set up that new arrangement and get it working, which is very difficult. It's like patting your head, rubbing your stomach and doing something else at the same time. It will not be easy, Madam Mayor. So we want to do some more stuff together. This report sets out some of the initial concepts of that. And the key principles detailed in paragraph 13, I think, Madam Mayor, are worth bearing in mind. Each council will remain sovereign in this arrangement. Chorley and South Ribble are still sovereign councils, so we keep our independence. We will do the preparation work, as it says in paragraph 13b, and we'll seek to secure benefits. We're not doing this to make anything worse. We're trying to get some benefits out of it, which is detailed in paragraph 13c. Also, it details that as well as the political discussions we're going to have with our colleagues, and our colleagues at West Lancs, I think, have their council meeting tomorrow, and I think it's an emerging who their leaders will be. Staff relationships are very important. Our staff may have to work very closely together and to be reorganised in the nicest possible way in the next year or two. Challenging for members, but particularly challenging if that's your career and your job that people are talking about, and that's why we have to take some proactive steps to safeguard people's future. And paragraph 16, 17 details how that will set out to be done. Paragraph 17 details some of the items around additional capacity, and around that additional capacity is also dealing with some of the shortfalls in our capacity at the moment. And therefore, it details in paragraphs 20 and 21 about us sharing some senior posts very shortly, and that's the main proposal of this paper here today. And that's to share, as it details in paragraph 21, a monitoring officer, a shared monitoring officer between the three councils. And the reason for that is we have tried to recruit twice for a monitoring officer as Chorley and South Ribble and been unsuccessful for a variety of reasons. And West Lancs have an experienced and quite senior monitoring officer who can come in and assist us with that. And then the other one is a shared chief executive between the three councils. And the reason for that is we currently have a shared chief executive who's just left the room between our two councils, and West Lancs have had their long-standing chief executive retire on health grounds, and their interim acting chief executive is leaving to go to another job elsewhere. So they have a gap, and it would be sensible perhaps to work together by imposing somebody at the top, as it says in the report, who will get the three councils working closer together. There are a number of factors around that. Number one being that this council, along with South Ribble, needs to appoint a deputy chief executive because that role is currently vacant. And we all know from previous experience that recruiting high-level council officers at the moment can be challenging. There's details in paragraph 28 around the shared cost, or the shared allocation of cost and time between the monitoring officer role, between Chorley, South Ribble and West Lancs. It details in some detail on the structures in paragraphs 30, 31, 32, and details around the chief executive role in paragraphs 33 and 34. And it will be very much a balancing act for our chief executive if we go ahead with this, to maintain all the things we discussed before about continuity, stability, as well as investigating change as it emerges through the government policy. It also details in paragraphs 38 through to 42 the financial implications of people taking on a wider role. Now, what we're not proposing is to pay the chief executive another third on his salary. The proposals are, as detailed in paragraph 38, A, B, C and D, an honorarium for the roles, £10,000 for the chief executive role, £10,000 for the monitoring officer role, £10,000 for the director of finance and governance, who would also take on that governance role and currently give us a saving, and the deputy monitoring officer as well, which would be a £5,000 ex gratia payment. All that nets down to a net benefit to Chorley Council of £67,000 because our officers will be doing more for effectively a lesser amount of money that saves us money and also fills some of those structures. So you could look at it as a win-win. I'll be honest with you, Madam Mayor, I am concerned about the capacity, and I think what will follow on soon after is some further realignment of roles within the wider councils as that top team starts to look at what needs to be done and we get more clarity around the future of Lancashire very soon in the middle of June and early July. And therefore, Madam Mayor, I would also note that the human resources implications, which are very important, as detailed in paragraph 43, will be done in line with the Council's policy and in full negotiation and discussion with the unions, as you would expect. So, Madam Mayor, the proposals are detailed at the start of the report, if I can find them, in paragraphs 2 through to 6, and I will read them out for clarity. One is to agree the councils work together to develop closer relationships with the neighbouring borough councils of South Ribble and West Lancs, to agree that our Chief Executive, the Head of Paid Service, be shared with West Lancashire Borough Council, and delegate to the Head of People, Policy and Partnerships, in consultation with myself as the Executive Leader, the authority to agree the start date, to agree that the Monitoring Officer post shall be shared with West Lancashire Borough Council, and designate Kay Lovelady as Monitoring Officer for Chorley, effective from the 1st of June, and delegate authority to the Head of People, Policy and Partnerships to finalise and enter that final Section 113 agreement to realise these arrangements, and then to delegate the authority to the Interim Monitoring Officer to make changes to the Constitution to be reflective of newly created roles as applicable. Quite a technical report, but it's very important that we crack on with this. We are already further ahead than lots of parts of Lancashire because we've done the shared working with South Ribble. We have learnt a lot and we've got a lot of experience from that, for good and for bad. We need to develop that with West Lancashire as soon as possible to be upstream of other councils, and therefore, as usual, Chorley wants to be at the forefront of things, not chasing up behind. So, Madam Mayor, I commend that report to the council and happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Councillor Wilson, would you like to second that?
Yep, happy to second, Madam Mayor. I don't intend to repeat the overview that Councillor Bradley gave, apart from just to sort of re-emphasise that point that whether change comes through local government reform or not, this is probably a necessary step anyway, and it will have benefits, but it does present challenges. It is somewhat ironic, Madam Mayor, that I think Chorley Council has now existed for about 140 years, and the first time that we've actually reached absolute parity of 50-50 between male and female councillors, we're about to scrap it. So it's a shame, but the world is the world moves on. I think local government reform will take place, and therefore this is even more essential that we do this work now. It gives an advantage to the officers, it gives an advantage to the councillors as we move into that new world. But as I say, for the reasons outlined by Councillor Bradley, I think we should definitely press ahead with this as planned, and also make sure that we're on that front seat, or in the front row rather, when it comes to LGR. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson. Has anybody got any comments or questions? Councillor Perks?
Madam Mayor, the report makes total common sense, and our group support it. But we've just got one question regarding the capacity issue, and it's really the timescale for appointing a Deputy Chief Executive. Can you give us some further details on what kind of timescale are you looking at, please?
Yes, we are undergoing recruitment at the moment, and I think there's been times to have that in my diary, and I imagine whoever's going on the appointments panel from your side as well, in early to mid-June to do that. We need to appoint as soon as possible, and again, we've advertised previously that these people are hard to find, so we've been using recruiters to help us do that, because they are in demand, and they will be increasingly in demand through LGR.
It's okay. Any more comments from anyone else? Questions? Councillor Southern?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to reiterate what Councillor Bradley says regards these proposals, they do make sense, in as much that the trilogy, as we've always looked at it, is always going to be South Ribble, West Lancashire and Chorley. And let's just hope that that's how it goes forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Southern. Any more comments or questions or clarity? Okay, so this is for decision, so we're going to move for the vote. Can you vote all for? Any against? And any abstentions? Okay, that motion's carried. Oh, yeah. Can we just invite the officers back in? If they haven't run off. Can you do? Oh, cheers. Thank you. Look, oh, someone's gone. We'll continue because they're not technical items. So item 14 is questions asked under the Council Procedure Rule 10. I don't have any questions to present. Item 15... Item 15 is to consider the notices of motion given in accordance with Council Procedure Rule 12. I don't have any notices of motion. So item 16 is any urgent business previously agreed with the Mayor. That's me. I have no urgent items, and I would now like to declare the meeting closed. Thank you everyone for your attendance.